Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and a partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country and now the world. We have hosted tours over the last 22 years to Italy, Spain, Oregon, and soon France. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. We are excited to now be in our third season, and our podcast is all about the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired with every podcast. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Thanks, everyone, for all the listens to our last podcast, and I'm trying to get some momentum going here again with my podcast, but if anyone knows me, I've been quite busy, but it's all good as we are engaged in some amazing projects and events. First, my book, Mark Candelaria Homes, is out, and thank you for all the texts, posts, and messages from those of you who have purchased and received the book. You can purchase the book on our website. We'll include the link in the episode notes, or you can purchase it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. It's all over the place, so it's awesome. 232 pages featuring 12 amazing Candelaria design homes, accompanied by 12 of my favorite recipes, including my trademark paella. Okay, so this Thursday at 6 p.m., we're having a private book launch and signing party at the Clayton House in Scottsdale for those who were featured in the book. If you did not get the invite, no worries, because you are all invited to the Collector's House in Scottsdale on March 11th for another book signing that is open to the public. That's on a Saturday at 11 a.m., and I may have some samples of my tiramisu there again. So it's one of the 12 recipes featured in the book. So come on over, join us, buy a copy, and I'll be there to personally sign the book for you. Okay, a couple more quick announcements. Congrats to our Design for Dogs team, who received a second place award for the design and fabrication of the Barcelona Pavilion this Friday evening. Our team consisted of several participants from Candelaria Design, spearheaded by Perry Becker, Earthen Images, and GM Hunt, who masterfully constructed our entry. It was absolutely labradorable and terrierific, and they deserve my full applause. The event was hosted by Facings of America and my good longtime friend Richard Van Gielsen, whose podcast link you can find in the story notes. We did a great podcast with Richard a few months back, so check that out. The dog houses were auctioned off, and all of the proceeds went to the Arizona Animal Welfare League. Congrats to all. Also, a congrats to our Candelaria Design team for once again being named the best residential architectural firm by Ranking Arizona Magazine. I think this is our 10th time in a row we have won, so thank you again, everyone, for voting for us and our team. Finally, this past Friday, my partners and I hosted one of our Candelaria Design teams for winning a contest at our company holiday party. This was for Team Green, and the partners prepared a fabulous dinner featuring a fantastic salad by Meredith Thompson, lobster truffle toast by Tim Matheson, and a chicken and eggplant parmigiana prepared by yours truly. The recipe is on my M. Candelaria Arc Instagram and my personal Facebook pages, so check it out. You will love it. Okay, let's get to my guest. In this podcast, I had the pleasure of speaking with Julie Skrei of Abercrombie and Kent, and we are going to talk about one of my favorite things to do, and that's travel. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into our podcast. Our first guest of 2023 is Julie Skrei. Julie, welcome.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here, and you brought your husband Vern.
I did.
So
Thank
this is
you.
So nice, and I got you a nice glass of wine here, right?
Love it.
She is the director of sales for the prestigious travel company Abercrombie and Kent, where she has worked for over a decade.
Yes.
Julie is a highly regarded travel industry professional with an extensive background in sales within the luxury hospitality market. Her college degree, however, was in health, which is also a passion of hers and a subject we will touch on during this conversation. I had the pleasure of meeting Julie and her fiancé, Vern, at our good friend Dave Stockett's 70th birthday party about, a month or so ago?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I think around the 1st of December, if I remember right. And we sat right next to each other and started talking about safari trip to Africa and travel, and off we went, right?
Off we went. Yes.
We have a friend here.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, Bo likes to join in on the podcast. So he's our cat here that just loves to be a part of the whole action. Okay, so Happy New Year, Julie.
And Happy New Year to you.
Great to have you guys here. Thanks for joining me. Let's begin by sharing a bit about your professional background and how you started in the hospitality world.
Well, I'll tell you. So after college at the University of Iowa,
Yep.
I moved up to Minneapolis and I opened the very first Lifetime Fitness in Eagan, Minnesota.
Good for you.
Was in membership sales there for about a year and a half. Decided Minneapolis is a little cold.
Yeah, just a little, right?
So I came out to Phoenix during spring break. Loved it, of course.
That's my story.
And moved out here a month later.
Wow.
And thought, what is the biggest industry? But it's tourism.
Yep.
So I got a job at the Point Hilton Resorts.
Okay.
Started at the bottom in the call center and reservations. Worked my way up within 3 years.
So which Point Hilton?
It was all three of them at that time.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And funny enough, as a little girl, my dad had a convention up there. We went up to Point Tapatio.
Yep.
The elevator doors opened because we were going up to the top, and Bob Hope and Glenn Campbell walked out.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding
So it just
me?
felt like I was supposed to be there.
That's the two of them together?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. So I worked there for several years, worked at the Embassy Suites Biltmore location down the street.
Yep.
And then I was recruited to work and open the Sanctuary on Camelback Mountain, where I served as Director of Leisure Sales there for 5 years.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that.
We did.
I think I told you that we designed the little convention or conference center off to the side.
Small world.
When I was with George Christensen, we designed that.
Yes.
Yep.
Which is stunning, by the way.
Well, it was a fun project. That was my last project with CCBG, and then we did Enchantment many years before that up in Sedona. So that was my project. So I have a great connection and fondness with the John Gardner's people who built that originally.
That's my heart.
Yep, and the sanctuary is a beautiful property.
It is.
So let's see. How old were you when you achieved these accolades? Actually, am I jumping around here?
Well, I didn't talk about
that first thing. We'll go into that.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. Well, so my time at the Embassy Suites Biltmore, it was part of Promise Hotels. I was overseeing the travel agency industry for Promise Hotels.
Yep.
I was recognized as the #1 revenue generator. So that was, my first real success in sales.
Awesome.
So won an award and a trip, and
off you went.
Off I went.
How old were you when you achieved these accolades, and what skills and tips do you think led to you being the best in sales?
I thought about this. I was 25 years old.
That's young.
But I was born to be a salesperson.
Yeah.
I take after my dad.
You have that personality.
Thank you. No, I'll tell you, #1 rule, sales 101, get to know your client.
Right.
The sales will come. That's secondary. But I want to know about them, their family, what makes them tick, what their passions are, and establish a relationship and rapport and a trust. After that, I feel like they'll trust me and the business will come.
Right. It becomes a lot easier.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. It's the same thing in our business. It's building that relationship.
Absolutely.
And let people relax, let them enjoy what they're doing, get to know you, and make it pleasurable for both parties.
Well, business is about relationships.
Totally. So where did your career take you from there?
Well, to the Sanctuary, where I was for 5 years, and then I was recruited to open the first $1 billion resort in Las Vegas, off the Strip, called Red Rock Resort and Spa.
Okay.
I oversaw the sales for that and Green Valley Ranch.
So how did that happen? I mean, you're working away at the Sanctuary. Did they come to you, or did you kind of spot this, or what? How did it happen?
I happened to be traveling with one of the VPs of sales.
Okay.
And she kept asking me if I would come work for her, and I said no. I was very happy. And then I was at a point, you know what? I do want to move. And so after 5 years, I took the jump and moved up there. The casino side of things is a whole different world.
I can only imagine.
I
that was my inkling. Is like,
So I was there for a year. I got it opened and established and on the map. And then I was recruited to a sales and marketing firm called J.G. Black Book of Travel. It's no longer, but we were a U.S.-based sales and marketing firm. So we did the sales and marketing for luxury hotels and tour operators and all kinds of things around the world. So we were their eyes and ears on the ground in the U.S., spreading the word.
So how long were you in Las Vegas?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. And it is quite different, isn't it?
It's very
The
different.
cities? I mean, just living there?
It's a dog world, quite honestly. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I liked the weather. It was nice knowing everything's at your fingertips. You
Sure.
can go down to some of the best restaurants in the world.
Everything's right there.
But it is
Just a
different.
different vibe.
Totally.
Yeah. So you were there for 3 years, you said.
I was.
And then where did you go from there?
Then I went to Dallas, Texas, and I was there for
so
10.
another big change.
Yes. And that's where I worked for J.G. Black Book.
Okay.
I was with her for 5 years, got her company up and going. And then Abercrombie & Kent found me and asked if I would be one of their sales directors for the Texas territory and South Central. And I've been there now for 12 years.
With Abercrombie.
With Abercrombie & Kent.
Okay, but you're here in Arizona now.
I moved out here 5 years ago.
Okay.
My folks are here.
Okay.
And I wanted to be close as they got older.
Yeah.
So moved out here.
Still work for them.
I still work for them. Met the love of my life, and so I'm here to stay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're just recently engaged, right?
We were, yes, in October.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And we've got Vern over here in the kitchen.
We
hanging
do.
out with some of the friends from the Dave Stockett
That's
party.
right.
Isn't that funny how that all works out?
Gosh.
So these are amazing resorts. Tell us what you loved most about the Sanctuary. Let's start there for all of our local listeners, because Sanctuary is a unique place.
Oh, it is my heart. You know, I still maintain it is one of the best resorts in the United States. The views up there are spectacular.
Yeah, it's so pretty. It's nice because you look to the north, so the
correct.
sun isn't glaring in your
Exactly.
eyes. Yeah, and everything else is lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of blood, sweat, and tears putting that place together. So for the first year, as they were, clearing off the tennis courts from John Gardner's and the ranch on Candelaria, they cleared off all that. So I was literally out, around the United States selling to travel agencies a vision.
Right.
Which I didn't even know what it was going to be, but it turned out it was just spectacular.
So that vision, who came up with that vision of what that resort was supposed to be?
Quite honestly, Bob Castellini, who was the owner, who you also had the good fortune of working with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My former partner, George Christensen, we worked on his personal home. And great family. And so he had the vision of what this
He did.
And he knew that resort from years and years before because he'd always been staying there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, but he knew where to take it to the next level.
Yes, and we did.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to put that place on the map.
Yep.
Everywhere I went, from New York to L.A., nobody knew what the Sanctuary was going to be. And now, I mean, it's like I said, one of the best in the country.
Yeah, that's cool. We've designed several houses there. There's the little units, and then there's the private homes, and it is beautiful.
Oh, stunning.
So from there. Tell us some more about some of the things that you did from moving from the Sanctuary to Abercrombie.
Yeah, so
you went from
a couple
Vegas.
places in between, but then
yeah.
with Abercrombie, and I'll tell you that has just really excelled my career coming to Abercrombie & Kent. I mean, it is the pinnacle of pinnacle within my industry. So I will retire here. I've been here 12 years.
No one's going to steal you now.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Yep.
I love it. I believe in it. And you can't sell something that you don't believe in, and I truly believe in this company. So
right. It's kind of the epitome of travel, right?
Oh, for sure.
The pinnacle.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that knowledge, what are some of the best hotels and resorts in the world that you are aware of?
Mark, how much time do you have?
Well, I love to travel, right?
Well, I'll tell you, the number one place that comes to mind is Singita Lodge, Labambo, which is in the Kruger. It's down in South Africa, in Kruger National Park. It's on the eastern side of the Kruger National Park. It is an architectural dream.
Wow.
It's up on stilts, so you see for miles.
Huh.
But it leaves no carbon footprint. So they easily could tear that down and move on. Nobody would ever.
No one was there.
No.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. I would say the Saxon in Johannesburg, and I'm just talking Africa right now, but I'll get to some other places. Africa is my passion. The Saxon. I mean, you walk in there, you just feel Nelson Mandela. This is in
Wow.
Johannesburg. Probably another one, Royal Mansour in Marrakesh, in Morocco. That place, the attention to detail is just amazing. You walk in, everything is straight lines. Even, the curtains at the bottom are all
perfect.
folded the same way. I mean, I've never seen attention to detail like that.
Yeah. So I'm always curious
Sure.
when I've stayed at some of these beautiful resorts. I mean, someone has to be the eyes and ears and the person who guides all this detail, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it comes down into training. It comes down to a whole bunch of things, right?
Right.
I mean, customer service. The whole experience has to be comprehensive.
Right.
Everything has to be perfect.
Right.
The drapes down to how you greet somebody.
Oh, for sure.
And so there's a team that basically teaches every employee how to do that, right?
It is all about service.
Yeah.
And, people either have it or they don't.
That's funny. I always say that.
It's
And
true.
you can tell pretty fast, can't you?
You can walk into one of the most beautiful resorts in the world, and if you are not greeted from the moment you get out of a car, it feels cold.
Right.
So, that's something you can't teach.
Right.
But, I know everybody does strive for.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you now with Abercrombie and Abercrombie Kent.
We're not a clothing company.
I knew I was going to do that, and I was trying really hard not to. But as a travel person, professional,
Yes.
when you see these hotels, I mean, you're really looking at you ran these hotels at one point,
Correct.
and so you see both sides of that equation.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yes.
And so it's really easy for you to assess. No, this place doesn't have it, or yes, it does. So it's really easy for you to spot that, right?
Oh, from the moment you get out of your vehicle.
Right.
You can tell.
Yeah.
If nobody greets you, if you walk in the front doors and nobody greets you, if you get to the front desk and they're looking down at their computer and don't even say welcome,
Right.
you just know.
You just know.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And it is all those little subtle things that at the end you just go, it wasn't the same.
Oh, well, and I'll tell you, I've stayed at some hotels that are absolutely, 3 or 4 star.
Yeah.
But the staff made that place.
Make a difference.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because we just stayed at the, I'm going to say it wrong probably too, the Bellamon at Machu Picchu.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And the staff could not have been friendlier.
Yes.
And you just felt like I was at someone's house.
Yes.
I walked in and when we were in the restaurant, they sat down. The manager came over and sat down with us.
Yeah.
And said, "How's the food? Is there anything you'd like us to prepare?" And it's like, "What?" This was it was so cool.
That's that South American hospitality.
And that's what we noticed when we were there. And
It's
not
true.
only that hotel, but everywhere we went, it was very, very welcoming. I always felt like I was with family and friends everywhere I went. So that's part of the culture is what you're saying.
Absolutely. I would say
Interesting.
there in Africa, it is just part of their DNA.
Huh.
They want to serve and help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some other places.
Yeah.
You got me through Africa, and Morocco is on my hit list. But
it's
when we met that night, it was
Yes.
about the African safari that we want to do. So
Yes.
you're going to team me up with some good places for that.
Oh, for sure.
So we've pushed that off now to 2024.
Okay.
But that gives us plenty of time.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think I even told you this that night. Africa is one of those places that I wish every American could go to.
Yeah.
You initially go for the animals,
Right.
but you go back because of the people.
Huh.
But it is this feeling, that you cannot describe. I always say travel is very cerebral.
Yeah.
You go and you look at the beauty, you learn
Yeah.
about the history. But when you go to Africa, it's a movement of the heart. You can't paint it. You can't describe it.
Interesting.
It is this feeling that takes over. And that's why people go back multiple times.
I mean, every client that I've talked to that has been, and they know I love to travel, and I've never been to Africa, they just look at me and they go, you got to go to Africa.
Yeah. It's astonishing to me when I speak to Americans that absolutely have no interest in going. I'm telling you, it puts life into perspective.
Wow.
Because, our children here are crying because they don't have the latest iPhone, whereas down there, they just want a pencil.
Yeah.
It just
doesn't
puts...
take much to be happy.
No, it just
we've
puts
lost,
life into perspective.
We've lost
Oh,
sight
for sure.
of that.
For sure.
I talk about
For
that all
sure.
the time. It's like, really? You need that much to be happy? That's a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, we left out.
Yes.
Let's leave Africa.
Okay.
Let's go to Europe.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go to the easy one.
Boring.
I mean, it's kind of just it's it's true. I mean, it's like it's been so done.
It's our number one destination for the summer months, of course.
I mean, I was just there 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I went to Paris and to Zurich and to Italy.
Exquisite, but
I could not believe how crowded it was.
It is, and
I mean, in Rome, we could not walk a street without rubbing shoulders with people.
So,
it was that packed.
Mark, let me tell you something. This past summer, and even into this fall, and the holiday season, which is peak season, the hotels have doubled their rates.
Oh, I know.
Trust me,
I know. I haven't gotten that Amex bill yet.
I'm telling you what.
When it comes in,
you're in for a shock. And I was actually talking to one of my team members from our UK office today, and he said, Julie, it's because of the war. Actually, it's raised their cost of living so much. The gas prices have risen so much, so they're passing it on to all the consumers, and it's unfortunate. But on average,
Zurich especially. I mean, that place is expensive.
On average, hotel rates have gone up 156% in Europe.
Wow!
So you can't go on a budget there.
So what's
anymore.
your favorite though in Europe? What would be one of your favorites?
Quite honestly, I'm not as proficient in Europe as I am in Africa, South America, other places of the world. I just don't have an affinity towards it. I really don't.
Well, then let's skip it. Let's go to South America.
Yeah, I love Patagonia.
That's on my bucket list.
Peru.
We just did that. It was amazing.
Peru, Chile.
Yeah,
gorgeous. I was supposed to go to Brazil a few months back, and I had to cancel last minute. But we also just opened an office in Colombia. We really expect that to take off.
Yeah, I've had 2 friends go there in the last year, and they loved it.
But people love it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I will tell you right now, our number one destination is Egypt. Everybody wants to go to Egypt right now.
Interesting. We're going to try to go to Israel in 2024.
Yeah,
Israel and Jordan.
The whole Middle East is just on fire.
Yeah.
So Egypt is our number one destination, followed by Japan.
Okay.
As soon as that country opened, I mean, it is a flood of bookings. So much so right now, if anybody wants to go, you cannot go during cherry blossom season. There's no space.
Now, why Japan all of a sudden?
I don't know. And it's also the most expensive destination in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. But from March 15th to April 15th, you absolutely cannot go. So if anybody listening is wanting to go, make it after April 15th. Yes.
Holy cow. Now, so another hot list for Isabel and I is Nepal. And India. We're going to do India, Nepal, I think 2024 also.
Yeah. With India, people either love it or hate it. There's no in between.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go with people that are from there.
Yeah. And
I think that's a good way to do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's great. In fact, one of my most favorite resorts is there, and it's the Rambagh Palace, which is in Jaipur.
Okay.
It was one of the Maharaja's palaces. It sits on 47 acres. I mean, it is exquisite. But every hotel there in India used to be a former palace. They're all just
amazing.
Out of this world.
And how's the service there? I mean, is it good?
You can't find better service, honestly.
So have you been in every continent of the world?
The only continent I have left is Australia.
Really?
Yes.
So you've been Antarctica.
My second favorite destination in the world.
And
yes.
That's what you told me that night.
Yes.
So in Antarctica, there's not a building.
No. So you sail down there.
Right.
So we offer luxury expedition cruises down there. We start in Buenos Aires. We charter a plane. We go down to Ushuaia, which is the southernmost tip, and then start sailing.
Wow.
It is, and I'm originally from Madison, Wisconsin. I was not excited to go down to the cold and snow. It is one of the most exquisite places I've ever seen in my life.
I've heard the light and
the Arctic blue, the colors, the animals that you see, the wildlife. Right. But you really can see how things are melting, right before your eyes. Wow. So I would encourage people to get down there sooner rather than later.
So let me ask you this thing.
Sure.
If right now I said, well, that sounds amazing. I want to book that.
Yeah.
How do I go about doing that?
You can contact your travel advisor. You can contact Abercrombie and Kent directly. You can contact me.
Okay.
I will help you find. If you don't have a travel advisor,
No, I'd
I'll
be
certainly
contacting you.
Yeah.
I'm making this short and simple. I'm calling you.
Yeah.
So how much does a trip like that run? Let's just say. I mean, I'm sure it matters how much time, but I'm sure it's a preset trip, right?
It is. So we've got 3 different departures. We've got a 13, a 15, and an 18-day voyage. I will tell you, if you have the time, take the 18 because there you see South Georgia and the Falkland Islands, which is even more exquisite than Antarctica. That's where the million of king penguins are, and it's incredible. But on average, about $15,000 per person.
That's not bad for 18 days.
They're totally all-inclusive.
Yeah, so that's everything.
Yeah, that's everything.
You just stroke a check and you're done for 18 days.
You're done. You just show up. We take care of everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so Antarctica, Japan.
Yes.
We talked about India.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite?
Uganda. Without a doubt. Without a doubt,
now
yes.
I think that evening we talked about the gorillas, right?
Yeah. You could drop me anywhere in Africa and I love it.
I'm picking up on that.
I try and go back to Uganda every year. It is rolling green coffee and tea plantations. It is your gorillas, it's just gorillas in the mist is what I was trying to say. But it is exquisite and clean and so authentic. But I've gone back since 2015 every year, and I've now acquired 6 godchildren.
Good for you.
I adore them. So I do try and go back every year to see them.
That's really cool. So when you see the gorillas, like, tell me about that. Are they like 100 yards from you?
No.
Are they 5 feet from you? Or
Mark, they will literally, some of them will even come right up to you. So I was just there this past January, a year ago, actually, this week. And there was one gorilla family that I wanted to trek because I heard that it's the smallest family, but it's the most interactive. And boy, were they ever. So we were watching them. One of the females was laying down and she was posing, and she's probably 6 feet in front of us.
That's close.
Oh, yeah. And she gets up and she starts walking in front of us. Well, she reaches over and grabs one of my friend's scarves off of her neck and starts walking away. It was hysterical. I was standing there. There was another mother coming up behind me with a baby on her back, and she just dropped her shoulder and, knocked right into me. I went rolling. It was fantastic. I loved every moment of it. But to see these creatures in person is just a wow moment in life.
That's so cool. And look in their eyes.
Oh,
right?
They are so human. Well, they've got, 96 or 98% of our DNA. They are so human-like. It is, I'm telling you, it is just, it should be on everybody's bucket list.
That is so cool. Well, now you're getting me very excited. I might have to push 2024 to 2023.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You should.
So what's your role at Abercrombie Kent?
So I'm one of the directors of sales.
Okay.
So I've got
you're like one of the best in the country or the world.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course. No. But I am one of 8 directors, and I handle the West Coast. But I oversee a certain territory. Mm-hmm. And what I do is go in and I speak with travel advisors.
Okay.
So I go into travel agencies or find the travel advisors, educate them on A&K, tell them what's new, what's the latest product we've got, what's hot, the number 1 places in the world to travel to right now, all that kind of good stuff. But and just establish relationships and hopefully get them to book their clients with us.
So your website's pretty incredible.
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
that's a good place to start.
It's the best in the business, for sure.
So you start as a traveler. I would maybe go through there, find you, and get started.
Absolutely.
That's the way to do it.
You know what? It just gives at least some ideas.
Yeah.
They're kind of dream trips that are put on there. But of course, we can create anything at, especially if people are on price points. I'm happy to help with that as well. But we can customize anything for you and your party.
So if I said, I've got $10,000 to spend each, so $20,000 between my wife and I, and we're thinking of this, then you could dial us in from that.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
So what are some of the most incredible, extravagant travel experiences Abercrombie Kent provides? You've already talked about some of them. Give me some more.
Mark, I have to say, hand on heart, every single journey that we craft is unique because we personalize everything for that client. If you tell me you're a wine lover and you're going to Italy, we can open doors to private wineries nobody else can.
Interesting.
We can do winemaking.
Cooking.
Cooking class. Yes, if you're a chef, we can line you up with some of the celebrity chefs in that area. So it really depends on the person that's going, and we can tailor that. I will tell you, Antarctica, of course, is spectacular, but if you're able to go on one of these, our private jet journeys around the world.
Ooh.
Oh, I mean, out of this world. Absolutely amazing. And
that sounds cool.
Usually Jeffrey Kent, our founder and still who leads this company today, he accompanies many of them. But, we have one that goes into Uzbekistan. And many people were like, I don't even know where that is.
I know where that one is.
Well, the stands are gorgeous.
Huh.
But we went into a hotel because there was only a 3-star hotel. That is not us. We went in, we flew in bedding, we flew in, all the amenities and totally redid the hotel. That was people's favorite destination out of everywhere. And these are, 23, 26-day itineraries, and they loved Uzbekistan.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So your husband just got back from the Amazon.
Yes, he was in Brazil.
Yeah, with Dave Stockett.
Correct.
Which a lot of my viewers know who Dave Stockett is.
We love Dave.
And so he just got back. And you two just got engaged.
We did.
Do you guys have any travel plans?
Well, we hope to go for his 60th birthday, which is next October.
Okay.
This October. We hope to go back to Africa.
So he likes to travel too.
He loves to travel.
Is that how you guys met?
No, but that's why he chased me.
Smart man. So when did you get the travel bug? Was it as a young child? Did you go on a lot of trips?
Mark, honestly, growing up in the 70s.
And this is in Iowa?
This was in
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Yep.
Went to school at Iowa, but Wisconsin. Yep. Lake of the Ozarks was our family vacations in a camper.
Yep.
We had no idea about international travel.
Right.
And I just wish we had.
So when was your first international trip?
Probably Mexico in college.
Okay.
If you call that international. But honestly, I think it was Africa. It was South Africa when I started with the J.G. Black book and went down there, and it just melted my heart.
Yeah.
And I've been
opened up your eyes, your vision.
I wish every American could go. I really do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things that sets Abercrombie and Kent apart are the extensive local connections, and that take their travelers beyond any guidebook into the heart of authentic local experience. You talked about the chefs. You talked about cooking.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things I was wondering about is, you see these Amazon space travel. People going in space.
Sure.
Is that something on the radar for Abercrombie and Kent? Are you guys going to be doing space connections with Sir Richard Branson? And
you know what? I wouldn't doubt it in time.
Right?
There's a lot of liability there, so
signing a lot of waivers.
Yes,
right?
I wouldn't doubt it. Jeffrey Kent, he is the pioneer in luxury.
I want to know a little bit more about him.
He is such an interesting man. So he is. His parents actually were from the UK.
Okay.
His father was stationed down in Nairobi. So he was actually born in Nairobi, Kenya.
Wow.
Growing up, his mother actually was a debutante. But growing up, they saw people coming into Nairobi, and they thought, why are they not going out into the bush and seeing the wildlife and the beauty? So he started a safari outfitter, and he literally started this company with a Bedford pickup truck and a sterling silver ice bucket was his touch of luxury.
Yep.
But he would go station himself at the Nairobi baggage claim and look for Americans, and more specifically Texans, and ask them if they wanted to go out on safari. And they always did. And that's how we started.
That's how we started.
Yeah. And now we have nearly 60 offices around the world.
Wow.
I mean, there's no other company with this much outreach on the ground. And I truly maintain the number one reason why anyone should book A&K is the safety and security aspect. We are on the ground. I have stories for days of, evacuating people or, the volcanoes or whatever, earthquakes.
Yeah. You just never know, do you?
Terrorist attacks. And we've got the wherewithal, we've got the resources, we've got the manpower to get people out. So that is the number one reason why.
Interesting.
And why I truly believe in A&K.
Yeah. So obviously we just got through the pandemic.
Yes.
Which I'm sure had a big impact on your business for several
somewhat.
years.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like people are traveling like gangbusters,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably more so than even before 2019, 2020.
We anticipate this is going to be a record year. 2019 was a record year in 60 years.
Yeah.
We anticipate this is going to be even more so.
This year coming up will be huge.
Yeah. I'll tell you what got us through the pandemic, though. Everybody wanted to travel, to the national parks.
Well, here in this country.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And it was fabulous because
about
people
that.
get out and see, our backyard and what we're all about. Because we're here and we don't even go and see it. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
So, pivoting back to you now, you
Sure.
began your career with Abercrombie and Kent. You were actually living in Dallas, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and you were competing as a bodybuilder.
I was. Well, health is my passion. I grew up as a gymnast.
Okay.
And when I was turning age 40, I wanted to be in the best shape of my life. And so I did. I got into bodybuilding, trained with one of the best coaches, I believe, in the country, and did my first NPC show at age 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of things going on, girl.
I'm busy.
That's cool. So I think health and wellness and aging and all those things are big deals to people right now. So
For sure.
combining that with travel, I think the whole spa and wellness and diet experience, that's going to be a big thing going on now too, isn't it?
Well, and I'll tell you what really brought that on was the whole pandemic. I think people
are more aware.
saw, that work is not our life, and I think it really woke us up as to what is important in life.
Well, we noticed that in our business, people discovered their homes. Like, what the heck? We're stuck in our home. And then they realized we need to do something with this place.
Right. Right.
And so it was that. It was food. A lot of people started cooking again.
Working on themselves health-wise, getting back in the gym, even just going out for walks. But that's a big part of travel.
But that's interesting because now I think because of that and that awakening, I think the whole travel experience is going to take on a whole different
for sure
awareness level, right?
Oh,
I mean, I've seen people on my trips. I run my little tours, and sometimes they're just like walking zombies. I'm like, are you guys really seeing what I'm seeing? And so I think there has been a general awakening.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
At least in this country,
100%.
Because I think we were a lot of walking zombies.
Yep.
Don't you think?
We were just waking up, working, and going to bed, and that's it.
Totally.
And
right?
It put things in perspective.
I think it did. So that's cool.
No, I agree with you.
So what led your move back to Phoenix? Did a better position open up with the company, or was it a personal reason? We talked about this a little bit, but why don't you go into this a little more?
Well, so, my parents are getting older, and my parents are my best friends.
Yeah,
so
that's nice.
I wanted to move back and be closer. I happen to be here on a work.
Brothers and sisters?
Lots of them.
Oh, okay.
One sister who's here and lives down close by my parents.
Oh, that's nice.
But I realized, what's important is family.
Yeah.
And so I did move back 5 years ago, and then a year later met Vern, and
here you are.
We now have 2 grandchildren.
Wow.
From his daughter, who I adore. So we've got a 2-year-old granddaughter and a 1-year-old grandson.
Oh, that's cool.
Who actually live 4 doors down from us now. So we are
That's
thrilled.
Convenient.
I mean, this is the best life I could be living.
Oh, that's so nice. I love hearing about that. Well, this has been so much fun talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Travel is such a cool thing.
Yeah.
I think what I always love about travel is going back to the walking zombie thing. I think people, get into that pattern of go to work, like you're saying. When you travel, every one of your senses is awakened. And that's what I love about it, is nothing's the same. Everything smells different, tastes different, looks different, and your senses are on overload for as long as you've booked a trip.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this real quick. What do you think is the ideal length of time for a trip?
Well, being Americans, we usually have 2 weeks and
our attention deficit kicks in.
Exactly. I would say, 7 to 10 days based on where you're going.
Yeah. I would say 10 to 14.
And that would be ideal. But again, when dealing with Americans, they can't leave their job. Yeah. If you speak to a European, oh my gosh, they don't have their phone.
They take the whole month of August off.
Absolutely. And I wish we had that mentality. Another reason for Mark that for travel, Mark, that I was going to say is I do wish every American could travel just to learn the different societies, the cultures, the religion. I just think it would make us a more tolerant society. I
totally agree with
believe travel is the catalyst to that.
And that's why I always like when I go on a trip, I always like to schedule a cooking class. Because cooking is such a part of a country's culture.
Yeah.
And like we did a cooking class in Cusco when we were in South America, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, the chef knew so much about the history of not only the country, but all the different vegetables and foods that are in Peru, there's like, forgot what he said, 300 different types of potatoes in Peru.
Oh, I believe it. Did you have guinea pig?
I had guinea pig. And it was good. I enjoyed it.
Tastes like chicken, right?
Tastes like chicken, just like everything. Oh, it always tastes like chicken.
But Mark, even if people can't take, Abercrombie and Kent type trips, travel in your backyard. Do what you can. Just get out there and see the different areas in the United States.
Yeah, totally. And that's just it. I mean, this country itself is so amazing. And but I tell you, I think Phoenix is still one of the best spots.
I agree.
Do you agree?
I agree.
I mean, it's just an easy place to live, isn't it?
Well, and 8 months out of the year, we have the best weather in the country.
We don't shovel it.
That doesn't mean to move here.
Stay where you are. Well, thank you so much for coming today. This was so much fun.
It's a pleasure.
We've really gotten to enjoy meeting you and Vern, and we hope this keeps going for a long time, and maybe we'll get to travel with you guys someday.
If we can help you, we'd love to, and we'd love to travel with you. So
let's do it.
All right.
Thanks,
Mark.
So much. Great job, Julie. You definitely had me fired up about going on a trip to Africa, and seriously, Isabel and I would love to travel with you sometime in the future. Thank you for your time and joining our podcast. Okay, we have some great podcasts coming to you in the weeks ahead, including Robin Sewell. We've got some fun ones coming up, so stay tuned, and thanks for all your continued listening. Thank you also for the ratings and reviews, so get over there, give us a review. We love it, okay? We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course with our Candelaria Design homes. Make sure to order my new book. You're going to love it. Okay, have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Thanks for the listen, and we look forward to connecting again soon. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team, along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria Design office expansion. You will have to check out online our video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with and dined with and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.